right, everybody, we're going to do a very quick demonstration of how to turn a really busy looking, very ordinary trade show floor into something quite different. Like this shot right here, we turned it into, this is right here, she hasn't moved. This looks like a street outside, but actually in reality, when I put this thing back on, you'll see that we are right here where we are right now. So let me show you how this works. One of the nice things about Speedlight Flash is that I can control every aspect of my lighting, not only the shape, the color, but also the relative mixture between the light that you see, your ambient light, and what's in the rear. Okay, so look at that. Let me turn the sky off and we'll do one without any flash whatsoever. And I'll just do regular program flash, or program without any flash. Okay, so this is just regular available light, just so you can see what it looks like. This is available light, and this is what I just did. Same spot, many different looks. What's really nice about all of this is the equipment to do this is really, really portable and yet highly effective. So let me explain to you what I've got going on here. The first thing we have is one flash, a regular speed light on this stand right here. This stand, I really like this stand because it folds up into something so tiny that you can put it in a small bag. It all just folds up right into itself. This is called a Manfrotto 5001B, and as you can see, it just folds right up into itself, and so it becomes very, very tiny. Then I have right here, it's called a Joby roller ball, and the Joby roller ball is cool because then I can just go ahead and take my flash, position it to wherever I want it, turn the knob, and then it will stay in position. When you start to shoot a lot of off-camera flash, you'll really like the fact that you have complete mobility in your ability to position where your flash goes. So that's basically it. You just set this guy up here, and this becomes your main light. On the flash is a Gary Fong collapsible Snoot with a grid. And this grid makes sure that the power that goes on your subject doesn't get lost anywhere else. In fact, you know what, Dana, I'm going to do a full-length shot. Great. How's that? Yeah. Okay. So what I've got here is I've got one wireless strobe on a stick. Now, you might see other photographers use those big power packs and that have to plug into a wall and all that other stuff. The speed light here is actually more effective creatively than those because this uses the TTL system going to the camera, and at high speed sync I can take this all the way up to 1/4000th of a second, 1/8000th of a second. That's something you can't do with a studio flash unit. So I have complete creativity here where I can darken the background as much as I want. And under high speed sync, it's a very, very energy hungry type of energy. So what happens is it'll drain your batteries very quick, and if you're too far, it won't have enough power to reach. That's why we have to have the Snoot to focus the power on my subject. Okay, so see how that looks? And right now it says 60 at 4. I'm going to put it back down to manual mode, and manual mode on the camera enables me to change the aperture and the shutter speed so that I can mix the rear with the front. In fact, going like this, 1/2000th of a second at f1.8, you can see how dark the rear is. And I can change that by going like this. See, at 1/500 at 1.8, what I'm basically doing is I'm making the manual setting on the camera wipe out all of the light in the background. I can take it completely off, or I can have it on. So let's just do off, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to lower this down just a little bit, and I'm going to take that 1/25th of a second flash, crank it all the way up here so that it's kind of about that dark right now. So I can preview it, and then we'll take one shot, and then so you'll see how it lights up the background. It's very, very dramatic. Now watch what happens when I increase the shutter speed. It's 500 now, and I'm raising it up. By the way, on a side note, look right here on this lightning bolt. See that lightning bolt right there at 200 at f1.8? When I move it past 200, then their little H goes up next to it, which means high-speed sync. High-speed sync is faster than the camera's shutter. It works because the light on the strobe is on the continuous time that the shutter is open. I'm going to take this guy all the way up to 1600th, just experiment. And what I've done here is now I've wiped out the background. Look at that. So, actually, sir, could you move over in the green shirt? We'll just give it just a little bit of clearance behind her. And we'll do another shot like that. But this time I'm going to just go ahead and crank it up all the way to the limit, which would be 1/4000th of a second, and fire like that. Look what happens. So basically what I've done here is I've taken the rear and turned it into nighttime. And that's the true power of doing this type of photography, is that when you're using a combination of speed lights and manual mode on your camera plus high-speed sync, it doesn't matter if we're indoors or outdoors or in front of a really, messy place with a bunch of people around. We can get rid of all of that, and that's one of the things that I really like to teach, is I can create a spectacular portrait studio anywhere, anytime. I'm talking about we could be outdoors with a blue sky, and we can take the sky very, very dark blue so it looks very dramatic. But this is something that you can only do with speed lights. You can only do it with speed lights with high-speed sync, but high-speed sync won't work unless you have one of my snoots, because the snoots will direct the light. You see how there's no light on her waist and below? Because the light focuses all of its power outside of this little beam, and that's what gives you the ability to do high-speed sync. If I don't do it like that, what'll happen is the light will go all the way around, and then the flash will run out of power. So this is why we want to use a snoot like that.